Thank you. So here I share my screen with today's test, and before we begin, I'm really sorry for what happened yesterday. So I was unable to connect to the internet. Don't know why. So I had to cancel the class. I had to cancel the class. So we are really very sorry for the inconvenience caused. Okay, so here you have your first question on the screen. You have 2.5 minutes to solve this, and then please post your answers in the chat box. Make sure that you are timing yourself, you have a pen and paper ready to take notes, and you are participating as much as you can, listening to the explanations very, very carefully. Right, so here is your first question. Your time starts now. Be very, very mindful of the time that you are taking to post your answers. Okay, should be done. Let's discuss the answers. Please post those who haven't. It was an easy question. A lot of you have done very well. Good attempt. So this question says, in terrestrial environments, gravity places special demands on the cardiovascular systems of animals. Gravitational pressure can cause blood to pool in the lower regions of the body, making it difficult to dash blood to critical organs such as the brain. So the two comes first form of verb, and when we look at the options, all four are first forms. But what is the term related to blood? They have used it. They are using circulating blood, and blood circulation is a term as well. We use this for when we want to say blood to reach all parts of our body. That is called circulation of blood circulation as a term. So you are right in selecting difficult to circulate blood to difficult organs such as the brain. Why it cannot be difficult to flow blood? Because flow is more about starting from a point to going to other point, but circulation means it has to reach each and every part. It has nothing to do with starting, and moreover we have to go with what a specific word is used in this particular context. And then they say terrestrial snakes exhibit adaptations that aid in circulating blood dash the force of gravity. We have a blank between two commas means we need either a connector or we need adverb, because both of them provide additionality to a sentence. Such as is used when we give example, but this is not an example. Example is of terrestrial snakes. Such as does not come between two commas. If we want, we have to write animals such as terrestrial snakes, or reptiles such as terrestrial snakes without commas. So such as cannot come. Generally can come between two commas, broadly can come, and in particular can also come. Now, when we were talking about in the previous sentence, we were talking about all the animals, general about animals, that gravitational pressure makes it difficult for animals to circulate the blood. And now we are taking example of one particular animal, terrestrial snakes. So when we narrow down from a group to one particular species, the words that we use are particularly, specifically, specially. These are the three words when we want to highlight or want to take one particular element out of a group. So here, out of all of the animals, we want to talk about only terrestrial snakes. So the answer will be terrestrial snakes in particular, because in particular also means particularly, especially this particular one. Whereas broadly does not narrow down. The meaning of broadly is to accommodate more things into it. It is not about narrowing, it's about going wider. And generally does not fit in the context, because generally means generally this happens. This is not something special, but that's the opposite. We want to highlight to this particular group. We want to highlight to this particular animal. So it is special. So we cannot go with generally. So we'll say particularly or in particular, terrestrial snakes exhibit adaptations that aid in circulating blood dash the force of gravity. So they were talking about circulating blood to the brain. So when we want to circulate blood to the brain, that is opposite to the force of gravity, because force of gravity pulls things downwards, and going upwards towards the brain means against the force of gravity. So this was a general common sense based blank, that if we want to circulate blood to the brain, that is going against the gravity. The problem confronting terrestrial snakes is best illustrated by what happens to sea snakes when removed from the supportive medium. Because the vertical pressure gradients within the blood vessels are counteracted by similar pressure gradients in the surrounding water, the distribution of blood dash the body of sea snakes remain about the same. So distribution of blood throughout the body, completely in the body, we don't have in here. Overall the body, when we are talking about something in the blood going all parts of the body, we don't say overall. Overall is more for outer appearance, not inner. And we don't want the blood to go around the body. Around means outside of the body, side by side of the body. So we'll say throughout the body, because we want blood to go to all the organs. So they say the distribution of blood throughout the body of sea snakes remains the same, dash their orientation in space. Though their orientation, so though goes with contrast. We are not contrasting here. Regardless of their orientation makes sense. In spite cannot come, we need in spite of. Irrespective also cannot come because we need irrespective with of. So the only complete option we have is regardless of. The meaning of regardless of is the same like irrespective of. So regardless of means the thing mentioned after regardless of doesn't matter. So you want to say the distribution of blood throughout the body of sea snakes remains the same, doesn't matter their orientation in space. So it has nothing to do with their orientation in space. So regardless of. So these are the answers. The first one, the topic was circulation of blood. So we are going with to circulate blood. Then we want to specify, talk about one particular species out of all the animals. So that means we want to show particularly, specially, specifically, or anything made out of these words. So we went with in particular. And movement or circulation of blood to the brain, that is opposite to the force of gravity, because force of gravity is downwards pull and going off blood to the brain is upwards pull. The fourth one, we want the distribution of blood in every part of the body, so it will be throughout. And the last one, just based on context, that it remains the same irrespective of their orientation. We don't have of. In spite of, again we don't have of, so we have to go with regardless of the orientation. Right, these are the answers. Any confusions, anyone in here? Navjot, is this your score? Very good. Okay, so here you have your question number 2 on the screen. 2.5 minutes to solve this and then post your answers. Okay, it should be done. Post your answers, those who haven't. Mansi, keep your pen and paper ready. Aging takes a dash on the body and on the mind. Those who have not written C as the answer, please note this in your phrases list. Takes a toll is a phrase. Taking a toll, take a toll, takes a toll, whatever way it is written. What is the meaning of take a toll? Is to have a serious and bad impact on something. So, like you might have heard this thing during COVID times that COVID has taken a toll on the economies of the world. So taken a toll means it has drastically impacted, have a very serious damaging effect on something is called take a toll. For example, the tissue of aging human brains sometimes develops abnormal clumps of protein that are the hallmark of Alzheimer's disease. How can you protect your brain from these effects? Researchers at this university dash that older adults may benefit from a specific diet called the mind diet even when they develop these protein deposits known as this and that. So whenever you have researchers and the year is not mentioned, always go with present perfect. That means researchers have found. If they give us an year, researchers in 2011, then we will go with researchers had found, because then we have a year and we have to show past tense. Unless and until there is an year mentioned, you always have to assume it to be in present tense. That researchers have found this thing. You will also get a hint about this because see, they have used may here. The language will most probably be given that they talk about present scenario. Researchers have found that older adults may benefit. They did not say might benefit. So we also have to go with present tense. And we cannot ever go with ing forms in these kind of sentences because researchers are not doing it at the moment unless and until this thing is also written in the sentence. So we cannot select ing. So always go with have or has. Researchers have found that adults may benefit from this diet called mind diet. Plaques and tangles are a pathology found in the brain that build up in between nerve cells and dash with thinking and problem solving skills. Now, what are these? Protein deposits known as these, and these protein deposits are negative. That's why they said that because of these protein deposits, a person develop Alzheimer's disease. So when you have these deposits in your brain, they will obviously do something negative in your brain. So now they're explaining plaques and tangles are a pathology found in the brain that build up in the nerve, build up in between nerve cells and dash with problem solving skills. And some of you have written restrain. Restrain comes with the word from. Note down this combination. The meaning of restrain is prevent, and the word prevent comes with from. So restrain also comes with from. What we have after the blank is with. These two things are negative. So negative things will hold back. Hold back doesn't come with the word with. Conceal is hide. The answer is interfere because these are negative proteins. So they interfere with our problem solving skills. Means they don't let our brain perform the problem solving skills properly because they interfere in between. And interfere obviously is a negative word. Developed by this person who was a Russian nutritional epidemiologist and her colleagues, the mind diet is a dash of the Mediterranean and dash diets. So after comes a noun. Now they are explaining us what is this mind diet exactly is. So it is a dash of two different types of diet, dash diet and Mediterranean diet. What will we call this thing? This diet is a mixture of hybrid, variety, or composition. So having two diets will not be a variety. Mixture means we mix both of them together. But how do we know that they have mixed Mediterranean and dash diets? They might have taken some elements of Mediterranean diet and some elements of dash diet, but it doesn't mean that they have mixed them together. So the word which rightly represents combination of two things is hybrid. So the lesser academic word for the word hybrid is combination of two diets. It cannot be composition. You have to understand the difference between combination and composition. Combination is coming of two things together in whatever proportions, whereas composition is when you list the specifications of one particular thing. For example, I think we have discussed this example earlier as well. If there is a tablet that we take, example, any tablet, so we generally have the composition written that this contains 12% of this, 15% of this, 2% alcohol, and this and that, whatever. So those things are called compositions. Compositions just specify the ingredients of one particular thing. That is called composition. Whereas combination, especially when two or more things come together in their individual aspects. So this mind diet is a combination of two diets, not composition of two diets. Previous research studies have found that the mind diet may reduce a person's dash of developing Alzheimer's disease. So if we take this diet, it will reduce what a person's, we need a noun here, person's risk of developing the disease. Possibility, hazard, or danger are not used with the word disease, because developing a disease doesn't mean that you are going to be at a risk of losing your life. Danger and hazard are more used with life-threatening things. So reduce a person's risk of, possibility is a positive word, we use it for positive things. So development of a disease is not a possibility. You are at risk of getting a disease, not possibility of getting a disease. So the important things to note, you always have to think about whether you need a positive word or a negative word, whether your sentence is positive, negative, whether your context is positive, negative. It is very important. You can take this question as an example that sometimes the whole of the question is based on just understanding whether you need positive sound, positive words, or negative words. Right? So take a toll is a phrase, and you always go with researchers have found, scientists have found, this research has found, unless and until a time is given. And restrain comes with from, interfere comes with. We needed a negative word here because these proteins are negative and they interfere with our problem solving skills. The fourth one diet, it is a combination of two diets. We cannot say it is a composition. Composition can be written if they further explain that this combination includes 40% of Mediterranean and 60% of dash diets. That is a composition. But just saying that it includes two different diets cannot be a composition. It will be hybrid, means combination. The last one, when you talk about disease, you are always at a risk of getting a disease. You don't have a possibility, because possibility is for positive things. So Rajni, what I said was you always go with present perfect tense unless and until a time is given. Whenever you have these kind of sentences saying that researchers have found, scientists have found, a research has found, you always go with present perfect unless and until they give you a hint that this is a past research. Any other confusions, anybody? All right, so here you have your question number 3 on the screen. 2.5 minutes to post your answers for this one, please. Very good question this was. Let's discuss the answers. Io and Europa, the inner two of Jupiter's four largest moons, are about the size of Earth's moon and are dash of rock and metal. So we'll always eliminate the ly words to match your blank with the next possible combination. So with R comes ed form otherwise, and when we look at the options, there was only one past form given to us, so there was no choice. They are saying these moons are composed of rock and metal. So now you understood the meaning of the use of composed is when you want to say what is something made up of, then we use the word composed. So G and C are larger and roughly half ice, thus these four moons are somewhat analogous to the planets of the solar system, in which the rock and metal-rich inner planets are dashed from the gas and ice-rich outer planets. So what is this sentence trying to do in short? Inner planets are dashed from the outer planet. So they are basically comparing two types of planets. Inner planets are dash. Can we put inner planets are clear than the from the outer planets? Does this make sense that inner planets are apparent? Apparent means they are clear from the outer planets. Then they say inner planets are specific from outer planets. Inner planets are distinct from. Distinct makes sense because distinct means they are different from the outer planets. Or can we say inner planets are well defined from the outer planets? If we want to put well defined, then it has to be they are well defined than the outer planets, not from the outer planets. So because of the word from, we have to say these kind of planets are different from the other kinds of planets. So that is the meaning of distinct here. Then they say, however, Jupiter's moons are more systematic. Dash, they are explaining what do they mean by systematic. Dash of their properties vary continuously with distance from Jupiter. Multiple of their properties, multiple doesn't come with of. You can simply say multiple properties. Many of, many can come with of and without of also. Little and much come with uncountable things, but properties can be counted. There are 4 properties or 5 properties, so we have to go with countable now. So we'll say many of their properties, they vary. For example, Io is ice-free, Europa has a surface shell of ice, and dash, Ganymede and Callisto are both ice-rich. Outermost Callisto has more. What is more? More represents what? More is V2, second form of verb. What is the first form of more? And third form of more? Who remembers it? The first form of more is much, and the third form is most. Now, what is the rule for using V2? When do we use V2? Second forms are always used when you are making comparisons between things. So V2 is always used in comparison. Now, if we have a word more here, that means there was a comparison happening. So they from here started a comparison saying G and C are both ice rich. Comparing it with outermost C has more. So that is why we have to go with while here. Now, what is the meaning of while here? For example, if I could construct a sentence for you, all students are going to the trip, and while girls are preferring A destination, comma, boys are preferring B destination. That is the use of while, like in this one. While this and this are made of ice rich, the other one or the outer part is made up of something more. So this is called understanding the sentence, that what is the sentence trying to say. Only then you can select an answer. That is it comparing, is it saying third, do we need third form of verb, do we need first form of verb, is it giving a fact, is it giving a statement. Only then you can select your answer. This compositional gradient has geological parallels. Io is extremely geologically active. Europa seems to be active on a more modest scale, and Ganymede dash bouts of activity in its geological past. And some of you have written undergoes. So this particular moon undergoes activity in the past? Can we use present tense of verb saying in the past? Can we say would undergo in the past? Can we say is undergoing in the past? So this was the easiest blank. It has undergone activity in the past, because how do we use the word has and have when we want to talk about something happened in the past and we still have relation to it? We still are that thing is still active, still in use. So then we use has with third form. So this particular moon has already done activity in the past. So has plus third form means the same. Has undergone, has done, but at least it matches with doing in the past. Rest of the other three options cannot even go with the word past. Right? So the first one is the moons are composed of, with are comes third form of verb. No, with is and are comes third form of verb. S or es is with nouns. So if the noun is singular, we'll have a verb with s. If the noun is plural, then the verb will be without s. But in last sentence, they said Europa seems. That's okay, because they are talking about present tense. They are giving a present tense information about Europa. This is not always that the whole of the sentence they will talk about negative. Didn't they start with present tense? IO is active, means it is currently active. Europa seems to be active, means it looks like it is active. Jane was active in the past, or has been active, or has done the activity already, means it is not active now. They're talking about how the moons are active or not. One is currently active, one looks like it is active, the third one has already done the activity, and the fourth one does not show any activity. So you have to understand the context also. We cannot just simply say that. Can we say John writes a letter in the past, Sukhpreet? John writes a letter in the past. John has written a letter in the past. So that's why I always say that you can never read half of the sentences. Why do I say this for? Because you never know where is the hint, right? What you are saying is also what we use. And a lot of times I tell you that, didn't you see which tense they are using? And we also have to go with the same tense, because there's no other hint that we should vary. But we still have to read everything, because there can be a hint which can vary our answer, right? So read everything, especially the sentence in which there is a blank. Don't leave anything. You can never expect that the hint will be in the beginning or in the middle or in the end or in the next sentence maybe, or in the previous sentence maybe, right? So while, because they were comparing different types of moons, we got this hint from the word more. More is V2, we have to compare. And many with countable things. And the last one, because it is past, we have to select it has done this activity in the past. Right? Okay. So question number 4 on your screens, you have 2.5 minutes to post your answer. Or right should be done. Anybody left to post the answer? So this says scholars of women's history dash be as cautious about accepting oral narratives at face value as they are about written memories. So whenever the word cautious is used, cautious means to be careful. This language is always used when we give suggestions that we should be careful about doing work, anything in life. So the word cautious always comes with a suggestional sentence. So we'll go with should, that scholars of women's history should be cautious, means should be very careful about accepting oral narratives. Oral narratives means oral stories at face value as they are about written memories. The sentence is complete. We have are about the sentence after the blank. Some of you have written the answer previously. Do you think previously comes with are or previously will come with were? Because previously is past tense. You cannot say they previously are old. They previously were old. Previously word cannot come with present tense. So please make sure that you're always looking at the tenses before you're selecting your answer. And before doesn't make sense with are. Can we say as they before are? Again, before will come with were, as they before were, because before also shows something that has happened. So the answer is as they already are about written memory. So they need to be careful about oral stories as they are already careful about written memories. Yet has nothing to do here because yet means but still. We don't need but in any case. Oral narratives are no more likely than our written narratives to provide a disinterested commentary on events or people. Moreover, the stories people tell to explain themselves are dashed by narrative devices and storytelling conventions. So whenever we have a blank before by, you need to fill it with ed form of verb. And we have only two options. The stories are shaped by or the stories are worked by. So stories are not worked, stories can be shaped by. Shaped basically means stories are influenced by something, but definitely stories cannot be worked by devices. They can be influenced by things as well as by other cultural and historical factors. And see, it makes sense that the stories are influenced by these kind of factors in ways what the storytellers may be unaware of. The political rhetoric of a particular era, for example, may influence women's dash of the significance of their experience. Now, before of with the apostrophe, we always need a noun. When your answer is that I need a noun, what is the second check? Do I need a singular noun or a plural noun? So women's word is plural. Women with E means lot of women. Will lot of women have one clarification, one translation, one interpretation? Interpretative is not even a noun anyhow. So that cannot be the answer. But lot of women cannot have one translation and one clarification. So even if we don't understand the meaning of the sentence, we should know that I need a plural answer and interpretation is the only plural answer. So move ahead. Thus, a woman who views the Second World War as dash in increasing the social acceptance of women's paid work. So, a woman who views the Second World War as what? As central, as major, pivotal, or crucial. Except for major, central, crucial, and pivotal, all of them means the same. When you want to say something is really very important, something has played a very important role. And out of all these three, pivotal is the most academic word. So you can note it down. That if you get a choice between crucial, pivotal, and central, go with pivotal. That means that also means central role or a crucial role, but it is the most academic word. Second World War as pivotal in increasing the social acceptance of women's paid work outside the home may reach that dash because of wartime rhetoric encouraging a positive view of women's participation. So those women who think that Second World War played a very important role in acceptance of their paid work may reach that dash. Opinion, conclusion, Final and closing are not nouns. May reach that what? What is this thing? The reach word comes with conclusion. We reach to conclusions. Reach does not come with opinion. Where have you seen reach and opinion together? Don't we say, how did you reach to this conclusion? Do we say, how did you reach to this opinion? Reach has nothing to do with opinion, but yes, reach and conclusion is a combination. They are the words written and spoken together. So these are the answers. The word cautious comes with suggestional language, so we'll go with should. Before and previously need were. They cannot come with present helping verb, so we have to go with already, because already can come with present helping verb. Before by, we need ed form, and stories are influenced by factors. Influenced means shaped by. The fourth one, women's, is plural, en. That means we also need a plural noun, because a lot of women cannot have one clarification or one translation. They'll have different interpretations. Fifth one, people, the women, they see Second World War as very important happening, as very important event. So very important, the best form of very important is pivotal. And the last one, reach and conclusion, is a co-location. Reach does not come with opinion, but reach comes with conclusion. Is it fine, Zoya? And rest of you? All right, the last question for reading writing blanks, 2.5 minutes to solve this one. All right, should be done. So this says with a brand value of $64 billion according to Forbes 2020 list, up 9% from 2019. Coca-Cola is often rated as the best soda brand in the world. Dash the brand itself represents more than just the products. So we have a blank with a comma. Let's see the options. Although does not come with a comma, despite does not come with a comma. Both of these come without commas. However, comes with a comma. In any case cannot be the answer contextually because we haven't talked about any cases in the first sentence. So if we want to put in any case, we have to talk about some cases, only then we can say. So the answer is however. So we first said that it is the best soda brand in the world. However, the brand itself represents more than just the products. This is a way of writing when we want to say it does not represent just products. It represents much more. So that is why we are putting however. However, it represents more than just the products. And what do we mean when we say this more than just the products? Explanation with a semicolon. It is dash of positive experiences, a proud history, even the US itself. So some of you have written it is significant of. What is the meaning of significant? Can we write the word it is important of important experiences? Does it make any meaning? It is important of positive experiences. We cannot put the word important with of. It is typical of does not show anything good about the product. So you want to say it just, sorry, it does not just represent products. It is typical of positive experiences. It does not convey any positivity. So rather with of, we'll say it is symbolic of positive experiences. Again, representing cannot go with of. It is representing of. No, because representing means right now it is representing something. So the sentence meant it does not only show products, it is symbolic of, means it is a symbol of positive experiences, means more than products also it has some positivity with its experiences. So it is symbolic of positive experiences, a proud history, even the US itself. Also recognized for its unique marketing campaigns, the Coca-Cola Corporation has made a global dash on its consumer engagement. The words that can go with made. It has made a mark, it has made influence, result, or impact. So we don't make influence or make result, but we can say has made a global mark, has made a global impact. Both the things are fine. But with the preposition on, and what is that thing? Consumer engagement. Made a mark is more used with when you want to say a reputation. But here they are talking about consumer engagement. So consumer engagement has nothing to do with making a mark. It will be made an impact on consumer engagement. Though it's a bit confusing to select between mark and an impact, it is only because of what is written after the blank. Consumer engagement can have impact from a brand because of its marketing. It is simply based on context. Marketing campaigns can make an impact on consumer engagement. Marketing campaigns have nothing to do with making a mark on consumer engagement. So make a mark is overall, the brand has made a mark in the world market, means it has earned a lot of reputation. Then we can go with made a mark. According to Fortune, Coca-Cola is the 22nd most admired company in the world. Dash beverage companies, it ranks number 114, don't know. So companies, so we have to go with plural. So we can say among, because there will be more than two companies, obviously. So among beverage companies, it ranks at this place. For the Fortune 500 rankings, Coca-Cola comes in at number 93.6. Oh, do we have decimals in ranks? Coca-Cola outsells its historical rival, Dash, almost 45% of the soft drink market, while Pepsi controls a little less than 25%. Language, controlled. So we will also go with controlling. So Coca-Cola outsells its rival. How does it outsell? Controlling 45% of the market. while the competitor Pepsi controls less than 25%. And then they are given the other examples also. So market share, always go with the word controls. This particular brand controls the market share. So the first answer is however, because although and despite do not come with the comma, so we go with however. Also, when the second blank says it is dash of, we cannot say it is important of. It is wrong English. So they were talking about what does the brand represent? What does the brand show? It does not only show products. It is symbolic of experiences. Means it shows positive experiences also. Made a global mark is also right, but because of context that they were talking about just marketing. So marketing always puts an impact on the consumer. So it has nothing to do with reputation overall. The next one, there will be more than two companies. So we'll say among the beverage companies, and the market shares are always controlled. The answer was already given in the next sentences. So they were talking about controlling the percentage of the market. When we use influence, where is it? Influence is when something is affected by the other thing. Like in the previous question, we did that the stories are influenced by or the cultures. So different cultures, they affect how stories are made. Not always negative. It can be positive influence as well, but it affects in one way or the other. How can we use predominant bhavik? We need a verb. Predominant is an adjective. We want to say Coca-Cola dash 45% of the soft drink market. Coca-Cola predominant 45%. Coca-Cola does what 45%? Coca-Cola controls 45% of the market. We need action. Right? Okay, let's move on to reorders. Here is your first question. You have 2 minutes to put your answers for this one. Okay, one of the easiest reorders. 𝗙𝗏𝗀, well done. 𝗧𝗏𝗀𝘀, very well done. 𝗓𝗱, good attempt. 𝗬𝗃𝗲, good time management and good attempt. 𝗬𝗃𝗲. So the first sentence was B. Why? Because this is where the proposal is given. We say that acting on the recommendation of British government committee investigating the high incidence in white-led factories of illness among employees, most of who were women, the Home Secretary proposed in 1895 that Parliament enact legislation that would prohibit women from holding most jobs in white-led factories. And then only we can put D, where we refer to saying that it opposed the proposal. So before saying the proposal, you have to give the proposal. Only then we can say it opposed the proposal. Although the Women's Industrial Defense Committee, in response to earlier legislative attempts to restrict women's labor, did not discount the white-led trade's potential health dangers, it opposed the proposal. So the proposal has to come before this sentence, obviously. Only then we can understand which proposal are they talking about. 3 and 4 were very, very easy because here you have the full form of 𝗬𝗍𝗍 and here you have the short form 𝗬𝗍𝗍 only. So A, C should have been correct for everybody, no matter you are having no knowledge about reorders. You should be applying the acronym rule. Full form comes before the acronym always. And B and D simply based on which proposal are they talking about. So you have to give the proposal first. Very easy question. Should have been 3 for all of you. So please keep your strategy class rules in front of you for reorders when you are solving, because most of you don't use them. Second question, 2 minutes for this. Okay, should be done and very well done. Trilok, what has happened to you? So the first sentence is the most general sentence out of all the four. Manufacturers have to do more than build large manufacturing plants to realize economies of scale. This is just the topic. That manufacturers have to be um, careful about economies of scale. How to do now? You explain what is economies of scale. What do they mean? It is true that as the capacity rises, costs of the plant falls and approaches to minimum efficient scale where the cost per unit reaches a minimum. So this was the explanation of what is economies of scale. Here in this sentence, you introduced minimum efficient scale because it is in inverted comma. So inverted comma always means introduction over a sentence which has the same thing written without inverted commas. So minimum efficient scale is without inverted commas. This is with inverted commas. So this will come first and then this will come. Otherwise, there's one more hint that why will D come first? Because D says a throughput, again in inverted commas, and then you have a reference, the throughput. The first rule of reorders, the article rule. Earn plus noun comes first, the plus same noun comes after that. So the article rule should be remembered. It is used in most of the cases. This was again very easy because you don't only have article rule, you had the inverted comma rule as well. Again, throughput is being introduced here with inverted commas, and without inverted comma will come later on. So easy reorders today. Okay, here you have the third and the last question for reorders. 2 minutes to post your answers. Vinod, very good. So the first sentence is E. In 1988, services moved ahead of manufacturing as a main product of the US economy. So at least you remembered. We did in the last class that you at least have to first introduce that why are you talking about services, which services are you talking about, or which particular country we are talking about. So we have year also, and we have the name of the country also, that we are going to discuss the case of United States in 1988. And then the second was what is meant by services, because then the topic goes to definitions. So first we'll ask the question, only then we can give the definition. Some economists define a service as something that is produced and consumed simultaneously. For example, a haircut. Why will D come after that is because of the word broader. Broader is V2. First form is broad, second form is broader, third form is broadest. When do we use second forms? When we make comparisons. So broader means you are comparing two definitions. So before this sentence should come a definition, and broader means now you are giving a more wider definition than the one that you have already given. That is why broader will come in between. So you gave a definition, then you said the broader than this one, obviously the previous one. The broader classical definition is that a service is an intangible something that cannot be touched or stored. So here you said that we cannot store it. And then you have to justify yet here. Yet means but, means you will go opposite of the previous sentence. And that is why F comes at number 5, because in the previous sentence you said you cannot store it. And here in this sentence you are saying electric utilities can store energy. Computer programmers save information electronically. Means these services are stored. So that is the opposite of this definition. And then comes the conclusion. Thus, classical definition is hard to sustain. Why is it hard? Because this thing does not fall under the definition. So you say classical definition is a bit hard to continue because there are things which are stored, whereas the classical definition says that services cannot be stored. So there's a gap in this definition. This was easy language question. The question mark made it very easy. First you will ask, only then you will give the answer. Broader word was easier than before using broader, you will give a definition. Only then you will compare. Without having a definition, how can we compare? And then yet was very clear. Yet means but. So you have to put two contrasting informations together. And in the end, the conclusion, thus this definition is hard. So today reorders were easy. You should have got a better score. So here is your first question for reading questions, reading blanks, and you have 2 minutes to put your answers for this one. All right, let's discuss this question. Good attempt, all of you. When a business wants to increase its market share or dash reach at a low cost, it may franchise its product or brand name. So a business can increase market share, or a business can increase what kind of reach? It should be geographical reach. Geographical reach means the area. It wants to extend its business in more countries, more areas, more states, more cities. So when you want to extend your business geographically, that is called geographical reach. A franchise is a joint venture dash a franchisor and a franchisee. When there are two nouns, we always go with between. The franchisor is the original business. It sells the right to use its name and idea. The franchisee buys this right to sell the franchisor's goods and services dash an existing model or trademark. So when there is a franchisee, what is already existing? Existing model or trademark means the name of the business remains the same. Like if we can take a franchisee of Domino's, we can take a franchisee of McDonald's. So that is under an existing model, because that model, that trademark, that symbol, that name already exists. Franchises are a popular way for entrepreneurs to start a business, especially when entering a highly dash industry such as fast food. So any word that can describe industry with highly written in it, we can go with, there's only one adjective that we have. Highly competitive industry such as fast food. One big advantage to purchasing a franchise is you have dash to an established company's brand name. So what do we have that comes with two? Approach, access. Access is better, because access means you have this in your reach. So when you purchase a franchise, the benefit is that we have access to the name of the company because we are using it. That's not approach. Approach means method. Why not with come? Where, which blank, Rajni? With come, where is come? So what kind of industries we want to answer, Zoya? So what is fast food? It is a highly competitive industry. Competitive means when you have a lot of competitors. So in those kind of industries, it's very risky to open a new venture. It's better to get a franchisee because the name is already established and there are more chances of profits or success than starting a new name. Third one, the franchisee buys this right to sell the franchise's goods or services dash an existing. You don't sell goods and services with the model. With this, you sell the model also, you sell the goods also. That means with, two things together. You sell the goods and services under the name, under the M of McDonald's, under the trademark. With means together. Fine. Okay, so you have the second question on the screen. 2 minutes to post your answers for this one. What is the meaning of proposed in the first blank? Proposed should come with proposed by a government. Proposed a government. Can a coin propose a government? The term $1 trillion coin refers to a concept dash a government could mint a physical coin out of platinum with a face value of 1 trillion. So they said it is a concept. What is there in the concept? What does the concept mean? So that is whereby. Whereby means in which. So the term $1 trillion coin refers to a concept in which a government could mint a physical coin of platinum with a face value of 1 trillion, which then be used to reduce the national debt. Just we need to complete the sentence grammatically. And which could be used. Must is not the answer. Must is when you want to say you have to do something. I told you if you want to put must anywhere, put have to in that case. So can you say which have to then be used? If have to fits, only then must can fit. So which could then be used, because this thing was still a theoretical concept. We were just exploring the possibilities that we could use this to reduce the national debt. This conceptual strategy was dashed in 2011 as a potential alternative to raising the debt ceiling. So with was comes past form of verb, and we have only one. This was proposed in 2011. Dash, there were several high-profile proponents of the idea. It was rejected. So what we have in capitals is hence and although. Although comes when there are two parts in the sentence and they should be opposite of each other. The first part is supporters. They had supporters of this idea. The second part is contrast. It was rejected in 2013. So we have to go with although. Although people were supporting it, but it got rejected. Then it should be can be used. Why? Could be used means third form of verb twice. Doesn't matter even if it is being used 4 times or 5 times. This is not a reason to select or reject an answer that it is being used twice or thrice. Could here is because this thing has already happened. This story, this concept already came. And when they made the concept, when they proposed the concept, this was the possibility they were thinking. This is not now the possibility. This is already being rejected now. Right? Hence is used when you conclude the overall picture. Then you use hence. How can we use was introducing? Who was introducing? So we need subject. The government was introducing. And it should be introducing only when it shows continuity in the context, that at that time the government was introducing this concept. Means they were doing this action. So ing comes in very rare cases when your context means the same. When your context is using ing language, that this was happening, then this was happening, only then. Okay. So here you have the second last question. 2 minutes for this and post your answers. Very well done. So this says the idea of the brain as an processor. So with an, we need a noun which should start with a vowel. So it should be information processor. That's the only noun starting with a vowel. A machine manipulating bits of energy according to fathomable rules has come to neuroscience. With to comes first form of verb. We have to has come to cover, has come to dominate. So dominate is better because idea cannot cover neuroscience, but idea can dominate. Dominate means that it has become a very popular, very common, very accepted idea. However, one enemy of the brain as computer metaphor is this person, a philosopher who dashed that since computers simply follow algorithms, they cannot deal with important dash. So person, this is singular, so we need a verb with s. A person who argues, a person who aspects is not a verb, so there's only one verb with s. A person who argues that since computers simply follow algorithms, they cannot deal with important dash of human thought such as meaning and content. So when we have two examples, means a noun has to be plural. What of human thought such as meaning and content? So plural noun, we have only one aspect such as meaning and content. Computers are syntactic rather than semantic creatures. Dash people understand meaning because they have something which this person calls the casual powers of the brain. So word between two commas has to be a connector. We have two connectors on the other hand, and whereas when you are looking for a connector to start a new sentence, it's better to go with on the other hand than whereas. On the other hand is a better, more academic way of starting a sentence with a contrast rather than saying whereas. Right? Any confusions, anybody? How can you say a philosopher who is believing? Who told you that the philosopher is right now in this moment believing? Where is ing form Dipti in the context? So be very careful when you're selecting ing form. There will always be a hint when you need to do that. The last question for today, 2.5 minutes, sorry, 2 minutes, and then post your answers. All right, should be done. Anybody left to post the answers, please do that. Very well done. Australian researchers, so what we discovered today, what we already discussed today was to go with present perfect tense whenever you have research kind of topic, if the year is not given. So we'll say Australian researchers have discovered electroreceptors clustered at the tip of the spiny anteater's snout. The researchers made this discovery by dash small areas of the snout to extremely weak electrical fields. So after by comes ing form of verb, and we had two ing forms, reflecting the areas to electric fields or exposing the areas. So reflecting goes with light more. We are talking about body, brain. So we go with exposing. Exposing also comes with the word to. Reflect goes with at. By exposing the small areas of the snout to extremely weak electrical fields and recording the transmission of resulting nervous activity to the brain. While it is true that tactile receptors can also dash to electrical stimuli, I have skipped the comma to comma part because that was just additional information. So with can comes first form of verb. We are talking about some kind of receptors dash to electrical stimuli. We have answer in first form and we have respond, and we know that the receptors in our body, they don't answer but they respond to stimuli. Dash receptors do so only in response to electrical field strengths. This was just a reference. Such receptors means they respond, but those receptors do so means such receptors do so only in response to electrical field strengths. About 1000 times dash than. So before than comes V2, second form of verb, highest is V3, greater is V2, and we needed V2, so that is why the answer will be greater than those known to excite electroreceptors. Right? Any confusions, anybody? So research goes with has, have, by comes with ing form of verb, then can comes with first form of verb, and before than comes second form of verb. So this is the crux overall. If you would have selected your answers based on first, second, third form of verb, you will have a limited options and you can better match with the context. So it's always important to look at grammatical point of view. So these were the answers. Any confusions, anybody in this particular question? Okay. These were all the questions that we had to do today. I hope you would have learned something, would have noted down a lot of things. We do have a class tomorrow as well at the same time, 6:30 p.m. as per Sydney timings. Please do come back tomorrow. Keep practicing. Most importantly, take care of yourself. Avoid going out if you can. As per the news that I can see, the situations are not very good. So avoid wherever you can. And do come back. We'll have a new test tomorrow. We'll have some new discussions. Till that time, bye bye. Take care. Keep practicing. Thank you so much. I am also trying to get this throat better.